Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. Are you playing with your ball? That's a very annoying ball. So I'm on my second cup of coffee already today. We have kind of a busy day slash week slash 2 weeks coming up. The girls are on early out this whole week. That means they get out at noon, which is, it's definitely hard for Jason and my schedule. It's because we have Thanksgiving next week here in the States, and they have all next week off, which is, I don't know. I feel like when I was a kid, we only had 3 days off for Thanksgiving. No, we had 2 days off. We had Thanksgiving, which is always on a Thursday, and then the Friday off. And that was it. And these girls, they get all week off, which I'm going to say I'm a little jealous of, but it just, I don't know. The holiday season just really snuck up on me this year. So anyway, I just have a couple hours. I want to take the time, the little bit of free time I have today to work out in the garden. So if you can see the hog panels that Jason installed for me this past weekend, I love them. So my plan for these front 2 beds in my back garden this year is I want to put my sweet peas in my front beds this year. Last year I put them in my back beds and it was nice, but they were so far back I couldn't really enjoy the beautiful sweet peas, the color and the scent of the sweet peas. So I wanted to move them to the front beds this year. And every year I've used Hortanova netting, which is a very common type of netting for flower gardeners to use to grow things up and to keep things from falling over, like my dahlias are flopping over right now. But the Hortanova netting always kind of caved under the pressure, the weight of the sweet peas. So this year, Jason and I decided to try these hog panels, and we actually have 2 of them. One stacked on top of each other, and I love it. I think it looks so good. I think it looks beautiful, and I'm really excited to get the sweet peas planted right here. I do need to weed these beds today. I'm just going to grab my hula hoe and weed them. You'll see I had zinnias in here, and you can see I basically left the roots of the zinnias. I found your ball. I found your ball. It's right here. This is not smart of me, but here. Go get it. Now I'm going to be throwing his ball all day. So you can see I still have the zinnias in here. I just have to cut those off. I'm leaving the roots in for all of the plants. I'm not pulling any of the roots out. I'm leaving them in so they can decompose and basically feed the soil. And then I do need to top off the soil in these beds. And I was planning to go to my local dump and get some compost from there, but it has been so rainy and wet lately. Like, look at my corn. I actually cut this down when it was raining. That's why I didn't clean it up. I have to clean it up today. But it was so rainy and wet, I just couldn't bring myself to go get a muddy pile of compost. So I ended up getting bags of soil. Let me show you over here. Just bags of soil that I'm just gonna top off the beds. I like using compost better. It's cheaper, it's more cost effective. But I think the bags will be fine. I just didn't want to deal with the mud today. So I'm gonna fill up these 2 front beds with bags of soil, and then I am going to plant my sweet peas, which I have been growing from seed. Let me show you. I started these inside my office underneath the grow lights, and then I moved them out here to the greenhouse to harden off. I also have Johnny Jump Ups up here. Isn't that the cutest thing? So these are all ready to get planted out. The variety of sweet peas that I chose is called King's High Scent, and it's a creamy type of sweet pea. It has cream colored, and then it has lavender along the edges, and it's supposed to be one of the most fragrant sweet peas there is out there, and it's won awards from the RHS and all that kind of stuff, and I've never grown it before, so I thought this would be a fabulous option to try this year simply because I've never done it. Actually, Shay asked if she could help pick out some of the seeds that I'm going to grow this year, and she actually picked out the King's High Scent because she likes the smell of sweet peas. So she is the one who picked those out. I have to give credit where credit is due, but I'm really excited about them. And I did also pinch them. I cut the tops off just so that they could branch out a little bit more. And I think that they're going to be beautiful on those hog panels. So I'm just going to finish the rest of my coffee and then I'll get started on prepping these front 2 beds. But I have to show you all my dahlias. I cut my dahlias all the way back to the ground because I leave the tubers in the ground. I'm going to leave the tubers in the ground for these, but they just flushed back like it was absolutely nothing. They've all flopped over. I'm going to have to cut them back again, but I can harvest some more, which is really fun. I have more dahlias already and it's November. Hey, Oreo. Hi, baby. This is our barn cat. Hi. This is the most friendly one out of the 3 of them. So this one's Oreo, and then there's Oscar and M&M. Oreo is definitely a boy. I figured it out. Now he's letting me pet him when I give him food, not in a time like this, and especially not when Monty's here. Wanting to say hi. Hey, buddy. You okay? Can I come? No. Okay. All right. I'll stay away. But at least he sits and he watches and he hangs out, and I'm hoping that he'll garden with me one day. Before I take it out, look at how cute. Look at how cute this mushroom is. Oh my goodness, that is the cutest thing. I feel bad taking it out. Well, that was a much messier job than I anticipated. I am a complete mess. I'm gonna have to change before I go pick the girls up from school. That's okay. I kind of knew it was gonna be a little messy because that's why I use the bags of soil. I hate using bags of soil. I feel like it's such a waste of money and such a waste of plastic. But I really didn't want to dig in wet compost, like I said. And it's so funny because I was thinking, like, I feel like we've had so much rain this year. I feel like everything is really wet and we've had tons of rain, and I looked it up and we're way behind on our rainfall average. So I don't even know. Maybe it's like spread out a little bit more. But anyway, I got the bags of soil. Each bed ended up taking 6 2 cubic yards bags of soil. So that's like $70 right there. This is why I like going to the dump and getting compost at the dump. It just is it's so much cheaper. It saves plastic. It is definitely more work, but I just like doing it better. I feel bad doing this. So that's all right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant my King's High Fragrance sweet peas. I really need to clean this up, but I think I'm going to push it. I'm running out of time before I have to go pick the girls up. So just pretend like you guys don't see that. Okay. So last year when I did this on either side of the Hortonova netting, I did a line of the sweet peas on one side and a line of the sweet peas on the other side, and totally not necessary. I'm not going to do that this year. I'm going to do less this year, and my tubing right here has emitters every 12 inches, I think, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to separate them every 12 inches, so it's going to be way less sweet peas than I've ever planted before, but I always go so far overboard. I don't think I need as many as I think I do. You know what I mean? Like, I always end up throwing away so many sweet peas. So really, it's not going to be that many. It's going to be a pretty easy planting job. So I always like to have the drip emitters in first, so I know exactly where to plant each seedling that I have. So I have a ton of sweet pea seedlings. I way overseeded. I didn't really know what I was gonna do, how many I was gonna plant, so I wanted to make sure I had enough, and I'm gonna have lots left over. I'll have to find another place for them or give them to a friend or something. But what I'm doing right now is I am cherry picking my seedlings, which ones I want to use. And the way that I'm selecting them, you can see this one right here looks like a really good seedling. It's nice and long. It's longer than any of the other ones. I think I missed this one for pinching it. But the thing I want you to notice about this one is it's not branched at all, as opposed to this one right here that's branched 1, 2, 3 times, or I should say twice, really. That's twice branched. This one is going to give twice, if not 3 times as many blooms as this seedling if this seedling doesn't branch at all. So I'm going for the ones that look like they're branched way down low, because then I know it's going to spread all over my hog panels and I'm going to have lots of blooms just from one seedling. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to put some of these extras in the greenhouse and see if I can get them to bloom earlier in the season with the extra heat from the greenhouse. I think that'll be really fun. So look at how good this seedling is. Again, it's branched twice. I'm going to have tons of blooms off this seedling. Lots and lots of roots here. This one is perfect. That's a good one. I guess the motto for today is quality over quantity. I barely made a dent. Barely made a dent. Oh well. So here's a look at my sweet pea beds all done. I am very proud of myself for being so restrained. Usually every year my sweet peas, they grow and there's so many of them that they kind of spill out all over the place, which I love that look as well, but sometimes it looks a little messy. Maybe kind of like my dahlia bed right now. But so I'm growing, I'm maturing as a gardener, I'm being restrained. So I'm excited to see how these will do and how they'll look growing up. The hog panels, I didn't use any starter fertilizer or anything like that. I didn't feel like it really needed it with all this fresh soil. I could have used it, but you know, I didn't want to waste any. But I'm glad that these are done. I'm going to water them all in. And then again, we still have the drip. We pretty much run our drip all year round, except for we're so sporadic running it during the winter time. We have an online ratio system where we can go on our phones and just kind of turn it on, turn it off as needed. So we cut way back during the winter time, especially if it's been kind of wet like it has been lately. But they definitely get irrigation all year round, which is why I think it's important to put the drip in first. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I actually added a couple more bags of soil to some pots in my greenhouse, and I have these herbs that I bought at Van Winden's the other day, and I wanted to get these guys planted. So let's go do that. You know, I guess I should point out, I forgot to point it out earlier on in the video, but I live in Northern California in Zone 9B, and we get so warm so quickly during the spring that if we want our sweet peas to bloom, we have to plant them in the fall. So that is why I'm planting them in the fall. It's the same thing with anemones or ranunculus or like pansies or violas. You have to plant them in the fall so that they can get going over the winter so that they have time to bloom before it gets too warm. If you live in a cooler area than I do, then you don't have to worry about it and you can wait to plant your sweet peas in the spring. But if you live in a warm climate, you need to plant them in the fall for sure. Okay, so I'm in my greenhouse now. My friend Raphael came over the other day and we kind of set up the greenhouse, decorated it all, and decorated it in a way that's so incredibly functional for me. I am so happy with it, but I have all these empty pots that I need to plant up and I am itching to get them all planted up. So like I said, I want to plant them up with some herbs because I really want fresh herbs to cook with, but like cool season herbs like thyme. Thyme is my absolute favorite. Sage, chives, and parsley, rosemary, like that kind of stuff. Stuff that you would make Thanksgiving dinner with, or like a stew, or like chili, or you know, something like that. So I wanted to plant these up, and I definitely wanted to plant them up because I found some fun herb markers when I was, every year, I've told you guys about this, every year we go to this place called Apple Hill. It's basically like a harvest festival, and we get so excited, my family and I. It's literally a holiday for us. We call it Apple Hill Day, and we are so excited to go, and there's so many fun things to do, like apple picking and food and corn mazes and hay rides and craft stands where people, you know, kind of sell their stuff. And actually, one of you watches me and you make beef jerky, or not just beef jerky, a whole bunch of jerky. And there, you guys are always up there, which is really fun. But this year, I found this pottery place called, what's it called? It's called Stump Water Pottery. So they have a website, stumpwaterpottery.com. We were looking around and they were so sweet to us. A lot of times we'll go into places and they'll, you know, people will see the girls and they'll say, don't touch anything, you know, watch your kids, and which completely understandable, right? But these people were like, go ahead and touch whatever you want, check anything out. They were so sweet to the girls, so nice to us. And I found these herb markers there, and you guys, I fell in love. Look at how beautiful these are. These are handmade, so incredibly gorgeous. They were selling them separately, but then they also had this set with all 3 colors, blue, green, and white, and I just absolutely fell in love with them. I wanted to show you guys because I thought this would be a really good Christmas gift for somebody. I just think that they're absolutely beautiful, and I thought, wouldn't it be so beautiful in my greenhouse? Look at how good that looks. Oh, I'm so excited about it. And this here. And it just makes me feel so happy to know that this couple who makes this stuff is just the nicest couple. So stumpwaterpottery.com. Hopefully they have enough herb markers and all that kind of stuff, but excellent Christmas gift. And I wanted to use these while I planted up my herbs. Thyme is by far my absolute favorite herb for this time of year. I don't know, to me, it just smells like home. It smells so good. Whenever we have like lemon thyme chicken or something like that, oh, I love it. And here's the thyme. And then I got tricolor sage because it's beautiful. Oh, these have been sitting outside and they are soaking wet. I swear we're getting more rain than we normally do, but we're not. Sage. Here's the sage. Isn't that beautiful? Chives. Oh, I'm not using a blue one right now. I gotta get some, I think rosemary's blue. I gotta get some rosemary. And then last but not least, parsley. This honestly is probably the one I'll use the most because it goes with everything. Okay, so you can see I've got my thyme. This is English thyme. And then sage, chives, parsley right there. And then I'm gonna just store the other ones in here until I use them. Here's the rosemary. I gotta get some rosemary in here. I have a pot of rosemary, but it's hooked up to drip right now, so I gotta move it in here. Aren't these absolutely gorgeous? So it's a little shady in here right now. Like it's not, what time is it? It's about 11 o'clock and we don't have much sun in here, but these 2 trees are deciduous and they are about, no, not that. This one's almost lost all its leaves. Mainly this tree right here. This is my Chinese pistache and it's deciduous and it's going to lose all its leaves. And as soon as it does, this will be full sun for almost most of the day. And then as the sun gets later on in the sky, or during the day, there's this hackberry right here, which is my neighbor's, which has lost most of its leaves too. So the greenhouse actually ends up being in a perfect location because in the wintertime, when these trees lose all their leaves, it gets all the sun that it needs. Okay, the last thing I want to do today is I want to get some of these Johnny Jump Ups planted into this planter right back here. I think that that'll look really, really pretty. I actually planted these Johnny Jump Ups because I'm gonna plant them all over my garden. I want them to be weeds in my garden, or I guess you wouldn't call it a weed because I want it to be there. But I did a garden tour of Charlotte's garden a couple months ago. I think I did it in April, and she had these all over her garden. She says they're basically like weeds, and they reseed themselves everywhere, and they just keep growing every year. And I just loved that, loved it. So I want these all over my garden. So I started them from seed, but I do want to put a couple of them in here because I think that they're going to be really, really pretty. And I'm just going to hand water all of this stuff. I'll just be out here pretty much every day and just make sure everything gets watered. This is not the easiest to do one-handed. I'm planning to plant these out in my garden everywhere once I take out all the summer annuals, because I don't want to accidentally, I don't know, like stomp on these or accidentally take them out and get them mixed in with all the summer annuals that I have to pull anyway. I think 2 more. No, you know what? I'm going to be restrained. I'm going to leave it like that. I think that that's going to be good. So I think that they'll start growing a ton once they get some more sun, once my Chinese pistache loses all its leaves. But I think it's going to be really, really cute. So I have lots more pots to plant up. Pretty much it's all empty pots in the greenhouse right now. I have so many places to put plants, which is going to be really fun during the winter when there's not much else going on. It'll be fun to come in here and to kind of plant things up. So I'm excited about that, but I'm trying not to rush it too much. There's plenty of time, and I have tons of stuff still to do outside before I put all my attention and focus on the greenhouse. But at least I got the herbs done, and at least these guys can start growing a little bit. So it is time for me to go pick the girls up from school, if you can believe it. I know that went by really, really fast. At least I got a chance to get out into the garden. I think that that's really good, and I'm glad that I got my sweet peas done. Now what I need to do is I need to go get cleaned up, right? Because I don't want to be at school pickup all messy and dirty. I don't want to embarrass them. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.